All right, hello everybody. We are live here from New York. We've got Vlada. If you're watching on the page, all you need to do is just hit play. I'll show you right here. You should be able to see a little video icon right on the left. Hit play and you'll see us. You can email us your questions, type them in the comments box, or there's a special little question app. Sometimes it doesn't show up, but if you email, we're checking email or the comments. So we're excited to see everybody. Okay.
Плохо, что мы их не видим.
All right. We've got lots of questions coming in. Okay. First, we want to tell you a little bit about our shelter. All right, so as all of you know, Sochi Dogs is the first ever no-kill animal shelter in Sochi. We're really the only place where stray dogs that I'm sure all of you have heard about can find a safe haven. And we're working very hard to save as many dogs as we can, and it's all thanks to Vlada. Vlada, say hello.
Hello, hello everybody. Thank you so much for having us here today. I'm very glad that I'm to be now here, and it is first time in New York, and I'm very happy that I can visit this city, and I want
Thank you.
Thank you so very much for your help, for your support for our shelter, and thank you very much, Anna and Tatiana. I'm very glad that we work together. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Good.
Great. Well, we're so happy to have you here, Vlada. As some of you know, Vlada and a team of incredibly dedicated volunteers run the shelter in Sochi, and without them, we wouldn't be anywhere. I think a number of you might have adopted a Sochi dog, and you know, it's all thanks to her that we're able to make this happen. We have a couple of questions coming in, so we'll get straight to answering those. Our first question is from Jennifer Weinberg, who writes, how many dogs has your group been able to rescue in total? And how many of them have come to the United States? Vlada, сколько мы собак спасли все вместе?
В общем, в Сочи или именно наш приют?
То и то.
В общем, мы спасали. Я занималась этой деятельностью еще до того, как образовался этот приют, и много девочек, волонтеров, которые занимаются в Сочи этим же как бы и помогают, и таких собак мы считали примерно около 800 собак в год. А конкретно наш шелтер — это порядка 70 собак. То есть какое-то количество сейчас у нас находится, какое-то количество мы отправили.
Great. So Vlada says that she has actually been doing animal rescue with this group of volunteers who now help run the shelter for a number of years. And just generally, they try to help about 800 animals a year. And that goes everything from feeding to helping them place in homes, really just a number of different things. But at the shelter, since we started almost a year ago, just about 10 months now, we've been able to help 70 dogs. We have 35 dogs at the shelter, and there are nearly 30 20, no, hold on, we have 35 at the shelter, right?
Yeah.
Sorry. Or,
No, plus 3 puppies. No, 30,
yes, 38
8.
at the shelter. Our math is not always up to speed, but that's not the most important thing. Most important thing is we sent 26 dogs to the United States, Canada, and Scotland. As some of you know, that we've added Scotland to our list of places where we rescue from, or where our dogs live, actually. And I'm sorry, I think we're getting a notification. Okay, all is good. Katya flew to Scotland just a few weeks ago, and she's happily living there. She has an Instagram account, cat.the.dog, so you can check out her photos there or on our site. All right, next question from Joe Dunn in Canada. Hi, Joe. Thank you so much for all your help. Joe writes, hi, Vlada. I love what you and Lena do to help the dogs. I helped Mom and Anna with Anna and the puppies. Do you like the new shelter, and when are you coming to visit Canada? Vlada, could we translate?
What is the question? What is it? Okay, so, когда ты собираешься в Канаду и как ты любишь свой новый шелтер?
В Канаду я очень хотела бы попасть.
Vlada very wants to go to Canada.
Я надеюсь попасть в Канаду. Я очень хочу попасть в Канаду, и при первой же возможности, я думаю, что мы обязательно посетим Канаду.
Probably sometimes next year.
Да, и наш новый шелтер, это, конечно, совершенно уже другой уровень по сравнению с тем, что было у нас раньше, потому что раньше в нашем приюте не было никаких условий, то есть мы все сами делали, поэтому нам было очень тяжело физически, так как мы сами занимались же, опять же, уборкой. Вот. Сейчас в нашем новом приюте есть все условия для животных, и у нас теперь есть люди, которые там постоянно находятся, которые убирают, кормят. То есть наши животные теперь постоянно 24 часа под контролем.
Great. Well, there's lots to say about the new shelter. The new shelter is leaps and bounds from where we were just a few months ago, and this is all thanks to this incredible construction company out in Sochi who's volunteered all of the labor, all of the materials, and now we have this incredible place. We have an area for the adult dogs, we have an area for the puppies, we have a quarantine area, but really most importantly, we have electricity and running water. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but that's not something we had before. And if anybody's ever tried to take care of dogs, multiple dogs, without those two essentials, it's a challenge. Now we also have a little house out there that we rent out. And really, we have a family that's living out there rent-free, and they're taking care of the dogs in exchange for that. And we're so grateful because now there's always going to be somebody there to tend to all of their needs. Did I miss anything?
No, you're fine. No.
Okay,
Excellent.
All right.
I have one more question. Just one more question came from Susan from Canada.
Hi, Susan!
Hello.
Hello, Susan!
Susan.
Hi, friend!
Hello, my friend. Now that Lisa is in her home in Canada, who is your new favorite dog?
Oh my gosh, that's a tough one.
My favorite dog, I don't know, but
No, it can be two favorite dogs.
Because I think, как сказать, что одна, может быть, мне кажется, любимая собака, но
Может, несколько. You can say that it can be several.
Ну, наверное, сейчас для меня ближе всего это Росси и Маврик.
Okay, it's Maverick and Rossi. Wonderful.
All right. So we've got Susan. Okay. Rami. Hi, Rami. How many dogs can stay at the new shelter? That's a great question. Сколько собак могут поместиться в новом приюте?
В новом приюте может поместиться, ну, пока мы планируем то количество, на которое мы сделали вольеры, то есть это где-то порядка 40 собак, не больше. Вот. Но в будущем, если у нас все получится с нашим делом, то, конечно, там можно построить еще вольеров, и это будет гораздо больше собак. Но
Примерно сколько?
100, yeah?
ну, да, где-то
Twice,
так, но главное это содержание собак, опять же. То есть, если есть возможности, то можно их больше содержать.
So right now, Vlada says that we have space for 40 dogs with runs and everything. The land can accommodate runs and space for up to 100. But part of the reason why we don't have that many and why we don't have runs for that many dogs is because we simply just don't have the resources to sustain that many dogs, because all of them need food and medical supplies, and we just can't. It wouldn't be responsible of us to take in that many dogs without having the resources to be able to sustain them. But hopefully, in the near future, and we're working very hard with fundraising and getting donations, and soon we'll be applying for grants, and with everybody's help, we'll be able to get even more dogs in there. All right, hold on. We're getting questions coming in. Okay, Keith. Hi, Keith. How are you? How's Lola? Keith, Lola. Hello. He writes, Vlada, with all the time that you and the other volunteers spend feeding and caring for these dogs, you must have some emotional attachment to each one. Is it difficult to send them off to its unknown place, or is it more of a relief? Can you translate?
Yes. Ты тратишь так много сил на собак, и как тяжело тебе потом с ними расставаться?
Ну, к нашим собакам мы очень сильно привыкаем. То есть, и, естественно, когда мы отдаем собаку кому-то, мы переживаем, все, наверное, видели, как я прощалась с Лизой, особенно, вот, но когда мы отдаем наших собак, отправляем за границу, я очень верю людям на Западе, и поэтому, когда я отправляю собак за границу, для меня... Я, конечно, очень переживаю первое время, но переживания это больше как душевные такие, но не в плане того, что я переживаю, что собака как-то будет там плохо жить. Поэтому нашим людям мы не пристраиваем. То есть у наших собак два пути: или жить в приюте, или жить только за границей. Потому что в России немножко другой менталитет, и люди совершенно по-другому относятся к животным.
All right. So that was a lot. Let me see if I can recap that in the best way. But, Vlada says, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's, of course she worries and of course she gets attached, but she knows that they're going to a good place. And that's really the most important thing. She said that
she trusts. Yes.
She really trusts people
Yes.
here. And it's really thanks to all of you that we've been able to build that trust. And, we build a relationship with all of our families, and we hear from you, and we get so excited. You have no idea when we get these emails and we share photos, all three of us, and we send it out to all of the volunteers. And as some of you have known, we got this great book made for Vlada and all of the volunteers. If you've adopted a dog, here it is. Here are all of your photos. You can see it online too. We've just put it up on our website. But look, let's see if we can find Lola. Where's Lola?
Lola's here, of course.
She's in here. Oh, there she is. Here's Lola's page. And we've got everybody else in there too. So check out the website. And we have more of these. But going back to the question, Vlada says that for the dogs at the shelter, there are really only two options. They can either stay at the shelter or they can be adopted abroad. And sadly, part of the reason is because there's not the same great culture of adopting dogs in Sochi and in Russia. As I think some of you have heard, about Tiger. We recently adopted little Tiger to a family, and unfortunately, when we asked for a home visit, we didn't really get a response, and then and Vlada and her volunteers finally went out, and they found Tiger malnourished, and really just not in good shape. But Tiger is with us now. He's getting all of his medical care and all of his everything that he needs. So hopefully he'll be ready to go to a home very soon. Did I miss anything?
No, it was great. Yeah, I just want to let you know that there is no culture to adopt mixed breed. It's a lot of it's a lot of breeders, in Russia, and people buy dogs there. They don't go to the shelter and adopt dogs from the shelter. And actually, also because there are no shelters there. That's probably why there is no culture, and we need to change it.
Right, and I think that's kind of one of our big goals. We can find homes for dogs in the United States, in Canada, Scotland, wherever, but I think the real solution would be trying to solve the problem at its root, and that would be changing the culture. And I think our shelter, with all of the media attention that we've gotten, made a huge step in the first 10 months. And we can continue to do that so that, one day we'll be comfortable adopting to people in Russia, because, they're not bad people.
Yes, people don't know.
People don't know.
Take. I understand people, they cannot go to the street and take dog from the street. It's kind of understandable. You don't know what kind of dog, what kind of, you need to have some shots and all that stuff. Yeah? But go to the shelter and adopt from the shelter. It's a completely different story.
Right, and there's no shelter. And we're the first ones. So hopefully we'll be able to change that. And, there are a lot of people out there like Vlada, like all of the people in Sochi and all around the country who want to help these animals. And it's really just, a matter of putting 2 and 2 together. The work is out there, but it's really just forming those networks, and we're going to get it done. Okay, we have a question from Dan. Thank you for all you do and for all that you do, and congratulations on the new shelter. We live in Washington State and are curious what are the estimate costs would be for adoption. Hi, Dan. My name is Anna. I handle all of the adoptions here in the U.S. along with my mom, Tanya. So Vlada sends all of the dogs to us, and they either fly directly to their destinations, or they come into New York, where they spend a couple of days with us. We get to know them, give them a little TLC and a little rest, and then we fly them on to you. It really depends. I wish I had a straight answer for that, but it all depends on the size and weight of the dog. And that's how airlines price them. And we're all volunteer run, so whatever they charge us is what we ask our adopters to pay. But despite that, we are also, we do a lot of fundraisers. And if you are interested in adopting, just get in touch with us. Email us at info@sochidogs.org, and we'll make it happen. That's the most important thing, is getting these dogs into a home. And, if we could get a dog to Scotland, we can get a dog to Washington State. No problem.
Why did you say? Just explain.
Well, the UK has some of the strictest laws, and it took us many, many months and lots of emails, lots of phone calls to all sorts of different agencies, and a lot of patience on Katya's owner's part, and a lot of work on her part to make it happen. But we did it, and we don't, if it's a great family, we don't say no to anybody. So we'll make it happen. Okay, we got more questions coming in. I know I skipped one. Hi, Meredith. Hello. Meredith is out in Toronto, and okay, we have let's see. All right, hold on. We are just, We've got something from Rami. Her dog Sochi has now owned 3 dog beds in the house. So if you're adopting a Sochi dog,
Be ready.
be ready and hold on to those beds. The one in front of the fireplace is prime real estate.
It's understandable, yes.
Do you want to translate? Can we translate for Vlada?
Which one?
Can we translate about Sochi's dogs? Sochi's beds, rather?
Да, в Сочи у нее 3 кровати в доме. И самая важная кровать рядом с камином. Это ее кровать. Она ее заняла.
Поэтому мы сказали, чтобы все держали свои, были готовы с кроватями. Okay, Meredith. Vlada, what do you think you can do to educate local people so that the kind of abuse that happened with the pup Tiger won't occur again? That's a really great question.
Что ты можешь сделать, чтобы воспитать людей, чтобы не было такого, что они сделали с Тайгер? Да? Is it correct?
Yeah.
Наших людей очень сложно перевоспитать на самом деле. Я думаю, что пока в нашей стране не будет законов о защите животных, никто ничего не сможет изменить, абсолютно никто. Какие-то города, может быть, уже, как Москва, допустим, Санкт-Петербург, они уже как-то более-менее приближаются, может быть, к Европе, вот, но в Сочи пока менталитет такой у людей, что сложно с ними бороться очень. Вот. Конечно, мы хотим, у нас в планах есть это образовательные программы в школах для детей, в университетах, плюс мы хотим как-то донести до наших людей насчет стерилизации, сделать какие-то, может быть, как, не реклама, а такие баннеры, что-нибудь такое, что донести до наших людей, хотя бы так. То есть, а получится или нет, я не знаю.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of work, and Vlada says that bigger cities like St. Petersburg and Moscow have improved a little bit in that they have shelters and some animal cruelty laws are enforced, but it's really less about law enforcement because, as you know, it's all about it's officials in Sochi that are killing the dogs, and it's all about educating the public. And eventually Vlada wants to go into schools and colleges, maybe universities, to do some sort of educational programs. I think she also said maybe doing some advertising to tell people to stay and neuter their dogs. But it seems like we're really kind of starting on a very basic level. And I think just your point about Tiger, we have to be very careful about who we're adopting, and we are careful to start with, but sometimes it's very hard when especially when his family seems like it's very like they're great, and I think part of it is also doing a lot of follow-up, which is how we found out about Tiger, but that's really on an individual level. But I think what we're looking is kind of scaling up and working on a bigger level to sort of start a movement. Vlada didn't mention this, but I think maybe reaching out to local celebrities. Also, I think.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
And now we have a website on English, but we are going to make to make this website on Russian language too.
Yeah,
so it's very important.
That's
actually my job.
Yeah, that's going to be one of our big projects, is to get the website up in Russian. It's something we just haven't had the manpower to do, but we want to do that in the next couple of months, if not weeks, and so that people can read about it and really maybe get involved and to know what's happening in their communities.
Yes, to get people involved is very important. I think so. Yeah.
I don't think it's far-fetched to say that this cultural revolution can come out of Sochi because we've gotten so much media attention for the dogs. And if everybody sort of starts hearing about it and it starts it can kind of snowball. I think we can definitely get a snowball effect going. Okay. Они, мне кажется, они как-то идут без порядка. All right, Susan. Hi, Susan, again. Are there any animal cruelty laws in Russia? Есть ли законы по защите животных в России?
У нас есть один закон по защите животных, это жестокое обращение с животными. Честно говоря, я не помню, что грозит человеку за это. Ну там, по-моему, какой-то небольшой штраф абсолютно. И остальное все, никаких законов больше нет у нас. Мы пытались этого добиться, пытались и писали и президенту, и кому мы только не писали, никто не обращался. Путин. Мы писали письма.
Vlada says that yes, there is a law, but this law doesn't work. And Vlada even sent some letters to Russian President Putin, about this
And
problem
I think local governments too, right?
Yeah, local governments as well. Yeah, but we don't see any result yet, but they will make a difference. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's there are no laws, but that it doesn't mean that laws can't be changed, and even if there are laws, they're not necessarily enforced. So I think it's really kind of grassroots community, and that's where we can start making a difference. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. Okay. Vlada, I know that crates become very expensive. Will you try to get crates built in Sochi if Aeroflot accepts hand-built crates?
Какой вопрос?
Можно ли сделать самим эти клетки, чтобы
отправлять Аэрофлот?
Отправлять, но я don't think so.
Есть правила, мы не можем их нарушать.
Yes,
I don't think people can hear you. You have to speak up.
It's actually no. We need to buy it because the handmade, they will not be accepted by airlines.
Right. So I think Aeroflot and all of the other airlines have pretty strict,
very strict
laws,
rules.
Rules. And I know we've actually had to change crates here when we've flown dogs further into the U.S. because here the crates are even more strict. So that's a great idea, but I don't think it'll work. All right. Okay, did we miss anything? Oh, hi, Hallie.
Oh, yes.
Hi. Okay. Hello to Hallie and Max and her entire family, and Joni, I know you're watching, so hello to Amanda and Leo and to the gang over there, and of course Lucas. So Hallie says, do you love doing what you do, like saving dogs, and how does it make you feel? That's a really great question, and I think sometimes we almost forget about that because there's so much to do. Do you wanna translate?
Как ты любишь, ты очень любишь то, что ты делаешь, я имею в виду спасать собак. Я правильно говорю?
Yeah. И как тебе это делать, как ты от этого чувствуешь?
Что ты чувствуешь, когда ты это делаешь?
Помогать собакам, конечно, потому что я собак, животных люблю, наверное, хотя так нельзя говорить, наверное, больше, чем людей, поэтому я готова помогать животным, и я делаю это с удовольствием на самом деле, и особенно, когда я вижу фотографии собак наших за границей, я очень счастлива, и каждый раз, когда я вижу фотографии, я понимаю, что мы это делаем не зря.
Of course, she very likes what she's doing, and she don't do it. Is it correct?
She can't not do it.
Yes.
She can't not do it. She says that, it's so rewarding to see pictures of her dogs abroad and in their families and doing so well. When she remembers so clearly picking them up as stray dogs on the street, a lot of them malnourished, and, taking them in and giving them care and everything, and then you know, seeing them in their homes, it's just, it's really amazing. So keep those pictures coming. Yeah, did I miss anything?
No, it's just, I can add that Vlada says that probably she likes dogs more than people. Probably it's not right things to say, but actually it's true.
All right, and we have another question. Oh, and we have a little story. I hope, Riley, you don't mind that we share this. Riley is Tasha or Tara's owner, if anybody knows her from the site. And oh, we got one more coming in.
Мне кажется, он там внизу от Кэрол Дэвис. Вы читали это?
Yeah. Okay, we've got one more coming in from Meredith over here, but let me read this one from Riley. Hi, ladies. All the work you do is amazing. Vlada, how well do you get to know each dog? When Tasha, or Tara as we called her, first arrived, she was scared of men and nervous of women that she met. The first time we took her to the dog park, she would not leave our side. All of a sudden, she ran away from us, her tail wagging crazily. We looked across the park, and she was standing beside a young woman with red hair. We thought it was so sweet. She must have thought she saw Vlada. Oh my gosh, what a great story.
Oh my goodness. Они взяли, это Тара, remember Тара, да? Они взяли Тару в парк, и она очень боялась и людей, и женщин, вообще всех она боялась. И вдруг неожиданно она побежала. И она увидела женщину с красными волосами, как ты. У нее хвост махал, она была очень рада. Представляешь, она думала, что это ты.
Она меня узнавала. У нас был случай, можете его рассказать, что когда мы перед отправкой ее держали, ну, как бы, перед отправкой мы всегда ее привозим на передержку, потому что нам удобнее оттуда забирать, и мы в порядок их приводим перед отправкой, все. И она у нас бежала оттуда, и ее не могли поймать. То есть она находилась рядом с этими воротами, но далеко она не уходила. И когда я приехала, только тогда ко мне она подошла. Она не подходила никому, пока не увидела. Они очень к нам привыкают на самом деле, и когда вот любая из этих собак, они вот, если это будем мы где-то, да, то они, да. Она, может быть, ну,
Such a wonderful story.
Yeah, what a great story. Vlada just told us that before they send the dogs over, just to get them ready and kind of accustomed a little bit to being at home, they put them in foster care. And one time Tara got out. She got out of the gate and she was sort of, running around and wasn't coming over to anybody. And then Vlada came and she recognized her and she ran up to her. And so that's the only way that we were able to get her back in and back into the house. So I think, just to that point, Vlada says that they get really attached.
Yeah, they're really connected.
And they get really attached, and I think they all really understand that, if it wasn't for Vlada, if it wasn't for all of the people out in Sochi, and if it wasn't for you, they would still be out on the street.
I think they know it. I don't know how, but they definitely know it. Yeah?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. All right.
And they very appreciate, definitely.
Yeah, I think that you can always tell, in all the times that they've stayed with us, you can always appreciate. Okay. Oh, hold on. I wish they kept this in order for us. Okay. Has there been any decrease in the number of street dogs in Sochi? Do you feel like you're making any kind of dent in the population with your work? Or do the puppies just keep on coming and coming? And why are there so many adult dogs on the street? Those are all very good questions.
То есть они спрашивают, стало ли меньше собак на улице? Что-то насчет папис.
Do the puppies keep coming and coming?
Папис, щенки все приходят и приходят, и почему так много больших собак, взрослых собак на улице?
И ты считаешь, что ты сделала какую-то разницу?
Или что-то вообще уменьшилось, что-то поменялось или нет?
Сложный вопрос. На самом деле собак меньше, я бы не сказала, что, конечно, стало, потому что у нас климат, позволяющий как бы размножаться собакам.
Мгм.
Это раз. Во-вторых, плюс ко всему, опять же, наши люди не, ам, э, как сказать сейчас, наши люди совершенно не несут ответственности никакой за своих животных. Они выбрасывают. Взрослые собаки — это собаки в основном выброшенные. То есть, как правило, это собаки на улице до такого возраста не доживают, потому что у нас работают отстрельщики, травят собак бесконечно, давят там, ну, машины. Вот. И, как правило, взрослые собаки до такого возраста не доживают. И люди выбрасывают своих собак, очень много породистых собак у нас на улице, вот. А щенков много, потому что собак не стерилизуют. И люди у нас еще, видимо, прошлый век. И когда им объясняют, что стерилизуйте собаку, многие считают, что это неправильно, так не должно быть, это вредно для собаки. В общем, начинают рассказывать. И щенков они берут в коробках и выбрасывают на мусорке, а мы потом ходим и собираем.
Oh my God. Okay. Can you?
Oh my gosh. Well, has there been a dent? There hasn't been a visible dent, in part because there are so many dogs. But still, for every dog we take in, that's one less dog. And, you know, if you're thinking about, and especially puppies, if we're thinking about it exponentially, you know, we just took in, how many puppies did we just take in? We got 6 and 4, about 10 puppies.
Three,
3 and 6. So we just took in 9
У нас еще 3
puppies.
научника.
And we have 3 more.
They are
Vlada
not
just
on the
said.
website yet.
They're not on the site yet. But you know, so that's like 12 puppies, and they're, you know, so that would be, you know, 12 more dogs on the street, and if we go exponentially, that would be even more dogs on the street. So there's definitely a difference there. But Vlada says that most of the adult dogs that she sees and that you see at our shelter were once living in families. You can see in the camera, right?
Yes.
They were once living in families, and they were really just thrown out on the street. Simply because had they been puppies, with the extermination services or poison and shoot the dogs, dogs being hit by cars, they just wouldn't be able to, you know, they wouldn't survive to be, what, 2 to 3 years,
adult
to be adult dogs. What else did I know? I
Вы
missed
сказали
something.
про то, что убивают, что у нас
Yeah.
взрослые собаки не доживают. Да.
Yes, but a lot of puppies, because people
Right.
just, you know,
And
put
the
it into the
puppies,
cardboard.
right? The puppies, people literally put them in cardboard boxes and they place them by the dumpster. And that's how we find them. Vlada says that a lot of times, you know, she'll tell people to spay and neuter their dogs, but they don't understand that, and they think that it's bad for the dog. So there's definitely a huge opportunity to educate people. Did I miss anything?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So there's that's definitely there.
Even for sterilization, yeah, you need to have a vet. You know, you have to have vet
Right.
clinics, but there are some, but it's definitely not enough. Yeah, and
Yeah.
probably it's cost, you know, and people don't want to spend money for that.
Right.
It's
So
all connected.
I think, you know, one thing that we also discussed is, you know, having a low-cost spay and neuter at our shelter, because we do have the space for it. But, you know, again, it's all about getting the word out there. It's all about raising the funds to have the equipment to do that there. But if we could provide that and educate people and have them come to us to do that, that would be great. And, you know, I think we can really make a difference in that
Yeah.
way.
And that's what we are going to do.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's definitely what we're going to do. As some of you might know, this past Monday, we've been on a roll this week. This past Monday, we presented for the New York City Bar Association Committee on Animal Cruelty. And we told them all about the shelter, and they were incredibly supportive, and really just astounded at what they heard, listening to all of Vlada's stories, and many of them that we've shared with you tonight. And so hopefully they'll be helping us get some really kind of basic administrative things in order. So we'll be able to move forward and operate on a larger scale. All right. Let's see. We're just checking to see if we are missing any questions. We've still got a number of people watching. We have a little bit of time. All right. Okay. Hi, Scott. Scott writes to us, from where do you get most of your funding, and does the Russian government give you any money? That's a great question.
Откуда мы берем деньги, помогает ли нам правительство или какие-то официальные лица?
Нет, правительство абсолютно никакое не помогает, администрация нам абсолютно не помогает, все деньги, которые мы зарабатываем, сами вкладываем.
Yes, there is no support, absolutely no support from the officials.
Yeah, you know, if you really think about it, they are kind of working against us, in that we're trying to curb the population in humane ways and promote adoption, and they are quite literally shooting dogs and poisoning dogs, so we're definitely not getting any money from them. In terms of funding, it comes from you and for people who donate, but a lot of it also comes from us. Most of it comes from us, and you know, it comes from the right cause. You know, it goes to the right place. We're, you know, we're the first all-volunteer-run shelter, so, you know, we're hoping to be able to get funding. We're hoping to be able to apply for grants. I don't know if you're in the U.S., but we are working on applying for 501c3 status, so we will be a dedicated charity that people and businesses will be able to donate, get your tax deductions.
Yeah, but so far it's everything is on donations and on our money, and that's why we cannot get more dogs. Even if we have place now, we cannot get more because we don't have, simply we don't have money to feed them.
Yeah, to sustain them. We have, I think we answered a question a little bit earlier. I don't know if you were here for that, but we had somebody asked how many dogs can be in the new shelter. Right now we have runs for 40 dogs, which are the dogs that we currently have in our care. We can technically fit about 100 dogs in that space if we build more runs, because it is a pretty big piece of land. But we just don't have the means to sustain them, to have food and provide food and veterinary care for all of them. So there's, you know, we've got a lot of growth potential, and
also we need to promote adoption. You know, we can take dogs, but what we are going to do with these dogs? We cannot sit forever in the shelter, so we need to think how we can promote adoptions.
Yeah. All right, we've got one more question from Meredith. Do you have any local vets who share your values and who help you? That's a great question.
Local ветеринары есть, которые вам помогают, и которые дают там типа какой-то дискаунт или, так сказать, которые готовы вас поддержать.
Ну, какие ветеринары нам помогают? Мы
сделать стерилизацию.
Бесплатно нам никто не делает, и дешевле тоже. Мы стерилизуем собаку одного человека постоянно, одного доктора. У нее, я скажу так, это, наверное, одна из самых дорогих у нас врачей. Дискаунтов она нам не делает. Вот, и ее не волнует наши на самом деле собаки. То есть она делает свое дело, она за это получает деньги. Сейчас мы сделали, как бы, у нас там будет теперь как специальный кабинет для стерилизации. К нам будет приезжать другой врач, который будет стерилизовать собак. Вот, у него, конечно, подешевле собаки. Но у нас нету ветеринара, который работает за бесплатно. Такого нет. У нас люди не помогают, и у нас люди не... что это ветеринары или еще что-то, и как бы никто не будет делать за бесплатно. У нас нет таких людей, которые готовы работать за бесплатно. Есть люди, которые за бесплатно помогают в шелтере, это вот Лена, Максим, то есть те, которых по пальцам пересчитать на самом деле.
Well, Vlada said that there's really not a big culture of volunteering either. We have some really incredibly dedicated volunteers. I think a lot of you know them. There's Lena, there's Maxime, who's 14, and who comes to the shelter just about every day after school. But, and a few other people that I don't know, but we can definitely ask Vlada about. But in terms of the vet right now, it's we don't get a discount with the vet. With our new shelter, we do have a space. And in that space, we'll be able to have a vet come in to do the spaying and neutering, vaccinations, and all of those things. And so then we'll be able to get a little bit more of a discount.
Yeah, because dogs, even after that, they can stay in the shelter, this place, instead of in the hospital, so it will be much cheaper.
Right.
Вопрос какой-то прям большими буквами был.
Okay.
Ниже, наверное.
Sorry, we're scrolling through the questions, and unfortunately don't keep them in order, so we want to make sure we don't miss anybody.
Last question.
Okay, last question. Vlada, not the last one, you can keep asking. But this Meredith writes, Vlada, if you could have anything at the shelter right now, what would it be? Oh my gosh. All right.
Если ты хотел бы что-то иметь в шелтере сейчас, вот что бы ты хотел иметь?
Я чего бы хотела иметь в шелтере? Сложно. Что бы я хотела иметь в шелтере? Я бы, наверное, это в плане... Вопрос немножко не до конца понятен мне. В плане каких-то построек это, или это какие-то там, корма и там вот такое вот?
Ты можешь сказать,
Чего
что
угодно.
все что угодно. Ты хотела бы, может быть, хороший кабинет ветеринарный, или комнату.
Я бы хотела, наверное, сделать скорее какую-нибудь место, которое у нас было бы для обучения собак. Типа как кинология у нас называется. То есть я хотела бы, чтобы у нас с собаками занимались люди, которые, чтобы они у нас образованные были, так скажем, чтобы попадая... Да, и в принципе так-то мы приют уже весь практически устроили, но, возможно, я бы еще хотела для, может быть, совсем маленьких щенков еще доделать помещение какое-то, потому что у нас есть карантин, но для совсем маленьких щенков это нужно вообще отдельно. Ими отдельно нужно заниматься, отдельное помещение абсолютно. Просто, да. Все равно таких щенков нам приходится пока держать. И, может быть, специально обученных людей, которые занимаются.
Okay, well, it's a long list, but I think Vlada said one of the things that she thinks it would be really great to have is an area to train the dogs.
Yes.
So they can be incredibly educated when they come to all of you. And then I think she also wants a special area for the really, really tiny puppies, because those they still have to keep in foster care, and they really need a special area. Right now there's a place for them to be quarantined, but that's more for bigger dogs, and I think the really little puppies require a lot of care.
Yes.
And there was one more thing that I'm forgetting.
No. 2 things.
I thought there was one more thing. Oh, and I think it was also more volunteers to help.
Да, может быть, еще больше волонтеров, которые бы нам помогали именно занимались собаками.
Yeah.
Потому что так-то у нас есть человек, который уже там готовится.
Right. Okay. Yes. Okay, one more question. Do you all work in Russia or some of you in New York on behalf of Sochi dogs? Scott, that's a really great question. We have a very interesting model. I don't think too many other shelters operate this way. I'll tell you a little bit about how we got started. Vlada has been doing all of the work in Sochi. And myself, I'm Anna, and this is my mom, Tanya. We read about her in the Times. And actually, no, I'm sorry, it was the Boston Globe. Give credit where credit's due. And we emailed her. And I think you've got a great story about how you first contacted her. I found her information on Twitter, of all places. And do you want to tell your story?
Actually, Anna called me and said, did you check internet today, what's going on in Sochi? And I did not actually read that morning. So I opened and I found this just horrible story about the dogs, stray dogs in Sochi, how many dogs
right,
were killed.
But why do you care about the stray dogs? Because you grew up there.
Yes, I am originally from Moscow. I've never been in Sochi before, but actually I'm from Russia. And I was so upset when I read it. I just got extremely upset. And I understand that I have to do something. I need, to help somehow, but I didn't have any idea what can I do, how I can help. So I called my boss back, and she always knows what to do. She always gives me wonderful advices. And she told me, we need to find Vlada. We need to find her contact information, call her, email her, and ask her what kind of help, we can do. And that's what we did. And recently I checked my emails, and I found that it was February 6th.
February 6th, wow.
We started February 6th. And that day we sent Vlada email asking if we can call her, and she said, oh yes, please call me. So that's how we started.
So we're here in New York and New Jersey. Vlada is on the ground in Sochi, but we're so excited to have her here in New York. This is our first time meeting. We met for the first time in person, like a week ago?
Vlada came, yes, last Sunday.
Oh, yeah, last Sunday. We all had dinner together for the first time after we've been in touch for months and months.
Months and months, almost every day.
Practically every day.
Yes.
Every day.
On the phone, yeah.
On the phone and just text messaging. And so, yeah, I think, we make a great team. Vlada is working on the ground, and she knows all of the dogs. Tanya works on the IT side and also communicating with Vlada. I help do the social media and outreach, and we have a lot of great volunteers here in the U.S. who also do outreach for us. A lot of them are on this call. Rami and Meredith and Susan, thank you for all your help. So we are a shelter in Sochi. We are in Sochi. We're definitely in Sochi, but we are we've got
international.
We're international. That's the best way to put it. So yeah, we're kind of one of a kind. Oh, that's a great question, Rami. Vlada, how do you decide which dogs to pull off the street and into the shelter?
Как ты решаешь, какую собаку взять с улицы в шелтер?
Ну, мы берем в первую очередь нуждающихся собак, то есть больных или там сбитых, допустим, или, что мы видим, что она нуждается на самом деле, может быть, каких-нибудь истощенных или щенков. Чаще всего это даже в последнее время, это, наверное, даже щенки. Вот. То есть в первую очередь, конечно, мы смотрим те, которые нуждаются.
И те, которые к вам идут, наверное, в первую очередь, что они не дикие собаки.
Ну да, допустим, Джон, вот можете рассказать историю. Джона, когда мы забирали в ту ночь, мы знали, что будет отстреливать собак, то есть мы собирали как раз в том месте собак, и когда мы подошли к Джону, он прекрасно за нами пошел по переходам до машины, залез сам в машину, он еще с нами полночи ездил, собирал собак, то есть и в итоге как бы абсолютно спокойно, такое ощущение, как будто он всю жизнь в этой машине ездил. Вот. Потом он приехал ко мне домой, ночевал у меня дома прекрасно. На следующий день мы привезли его на передержку, потому что нам надо было собирать еще других собак. Вот. Мы сразу не перевозили всех в приют, мы потом уже всех перевезли. То есть он и там пожил, и все это время, между прочим, он терпел, он не ходил вообще в туалет, то есть он пошел в туалет уже, когда мы с ним вышли с передержки, и он побежал уже. Ну, это можно не рассказывать. Как бы. Ну вот, допустим, пример, как Джон к нам попал.
So first of all, that's a really great question. Vlada says that, most of the dogs that they pull off the street are ones that they see that really need help. Some of them have been hit by cars. Some of them might have been, or some of them are malnourished.
Можно я перебью? Еще большинство собак, которые к нам попали, мы знали, что этих собак должны отстрелить ночью. То есть этих собак мы и забирали в первую очередь, потому что во время Олимпиады чистились очень много центральные районы, и мы знали, что эти собаки будут отстреляны, мы их забираем.
Okay.
So that's how they get dogs now. But during the Olympics, there was a kind of a very systematic cleaning, as they say, of the city, and they would go into specific areas. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
To shoot dogs, and
like a train station, bus station.
Like train stations, bus stations, and so they would try to keep up and pull off as many dogs as they could from areas before they were. Before they knew that they were going to be shooting and poisoning dogs
they got
there.
Some hints, yeah.
Yeah. And so there's one story of Johnny, Vlada was just telling us, and she was pulling off dogs from, I think this was the train station,
train
right?
Station, train station. Stetson.
Stetson was there. Carol, if you're there. And I think a couple of other dogs.
Yes.
Lisa was there as well. So they were all from that same area. And you have to think, it takes a lot of work. These are like big dogs. They don't have leashes or collars. So it's just a matter of getting them to go. I know, are they going to be okay? Are they okay when you put a collar on them, a leash on them? Are they willing to go?
Of course, not every dog, yes.
Yeah, and of course, not every dog is okay with that. I think mostly these are dogs that have been thrown out.
Yes.
And the funny story with Johnny is that he did not need a leash or a collar or anything. He just followed them right into the car, and he walked like over, I think, under an underpass to get to where they were parked, jumped in the car all by himself, rode around the entire night, and then he
Потом пришел ко мне.
and then he spent the night at Vlada's home. No problems there, no leashes, nothing. He just walked right in. Then I think the next day he spent the night in foster care before he was taken to the shelter, and not one accident. He was sort of like he'd been doing it all along. So
but it means that he definitely was abandoned.
Yeah, that means he was definitely abandoned, and he definitely had a family. So he's a great dog.
He's a great dog. Yes.
And we'll get him another family.
Он у нас лидер теперь.
Vlada says that
у него отдельная будка, и он вообще живет отдельно от всех у нас теперь.
He's a boss of the shelter.
Yeah, Vlada says that he's really in charge of the shelter. He's sort of taken charge. All right. Let's see. I think we've got all of the questions, right? Am I missing anything through email? Let's see. Keeps.
I guess we're yeah.
All right. So it's just about 10 o'clock. I think we're going to wrap it up. Thank you to everybody who tuned in. We're going to try to get this video on YouTube. Yes?
I think so. We have to check it first. Yeah.
Yes. We're gonna do our best to get that up there so you can share and watch.
We will put a link on the website.
Yeah, we'll put a link on our website and our Facebook page. And thank you for all of you for joining and supporting and for being a part of this. Vlada, do you have anything you want to say?
Thank you so much for your questions. and for your help, support. Thank you. For me, it is very interested, really, and I hope that we see you later, maybe next time, maybe in New York, maybe in Toronto. I don't know.
Maybe in Sochi.
Maybe in Sochi, yes,
Sometimes,
in our
yeah.
shelter, yes.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good
Bye-bye.
one.